Very elegant, audible.
We are now live. Ladies, congratulations. Guarded Hearts anthology is out. So I have wine. Oh, and then I cover it up. Look, it really is wine. And congratulations, ladies. I've got to read it because it's long. So we did have that moment where we all witnessed we hit #1 on Amazon Australia's hot new releases for 2. We had romance short stories and a collections and anthologies list. And I think that's worth celebrating. So cheers,
Absolutely.
everybody.
Cheers.
A virtual clink.
Clink,
So,
clunk with mine. Mine's very elegantly clunk.
I've left my one off foot. Oh, Eliza, can you hear us at your end? We're just going to make sure we've got Tasmania on the line, so to speak.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, excellent. We can hear you.
Me?
We can't see you.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Yeah.
We can hear you.
My camera is stuffed.
That's all right.
You can't hear
me.
me.
We can see your profile picture. So we'll definitely do this like we're just doing a podcast or a phone call. So that's totally okay. We've also got here Sarah Hartland, who's... Oh, no, don't worry. That's okay. We're just all going to drink wine on camera at our end. So you can do whatever you please at yours. Celebrate the way you want down in Tasmania.
I'm drinking wine.
Oh, we didn't doubt. You're in your pajamas. We know what this no camera business is. I just want to also do a bit of a call out. This is truly Australia because we've got Eliza, who's now you're sort of a fresh Tasmanian, immigrant down south. Sarah, you're Queensland sunny coast, but you're actually representing Ballina in New South Wales. So good for you.
Correct.
Props for bringing New South Wales into the chat. Nicole, West Coast, talking to the East Coast here. So hello, Perth.
I'm really from the past.
Yes, coming from witching hour before dinner, where all of us have done the kids and all the rest at our end. And Heather, just up the road, Brisbane, whatever. It's ordinary, right? But we've got a really good mix. And the intro I was going to do for us is we've got an incredible mix too of the types of protectors that we like, of heroes and heroines, because by God, this was a very diverse group of 5 as a random sample from the anthology we could get. And we've got cowboys versus the cattle rustlers. We've got Templar Knights. We also have military heroes. And Eliza and Nicole, you're both, straight all that ex-military, military kind of world. And then I come in with a firefighter doing mountain rescue, just to be a little bit different. And I just want to say, we're the 5 who are here, but hello, Ruby Rare. Ruby, let us know where in Australia you're saying g'day from, and congratulations to you. Really glad you could join us. And down the other end of the road, Kaz, hello, lovelies. Hello, right back to you, you lovely soul. But I just told the girls too when we're in the studio, you can't see the way that you guys look in terms of a clockwise motion. And Sarah just said, don't you dare ask me first. And guess who was first? That was you. So I'm going to randomly just assign names. And we've got the ACT representing with Ruby as well.
Brilliant.
Ruby, we're going to go around and just talk a little bit about our stories. As someone who had her Kindle on 4% by the time I managed to get to it, I cannot look up anyone's stories because it yelled at me to say you desperately need to charge. It's like, all right, Amazon, calm down. I'll do that. So
you don't have the Kindle app on your phone and you can't pull it up?
I used to, and I broke up with that, and I just went solely device in the end. Don't even start.
Do you want me to pull them up?
Oh, yeah, if you like. But I was going to ask Ruby if you would like to talk about what your hero and heroine or the protector, what kind is in your story. That'd be great to add to the chat as well. But Eliza, I'm going to start with you, coming from Tassie. Can you tell us a little bit about your story that's in the anthology?
Yes. This is so funny looking at my talking head here, but anyway, I'll give it a go. It's ex-military hero. I love my ex-military men. Dad and brother were both military people, so I don't know, it's kind of homage to them always in some weird way. I don't know that my dad would actually approve, but hell. So this story, Rush, is it's actually a prequel to the New York Sentinel Security. I've done the London Boys, and now these are the new boys. And so, yes, so they get caught in a lift, basically, and then it all goes down or uphill from there, depending on which way you look at it. Or they fall.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, in sort of so many words, you can't really do that too much. Well, I can't. I'm sure some more talented people can. I can't.
No, that's fantastic.
So
and I've got to say, really. I love your covers.
A lift, and it goes from there. I mean, of course, there's a few little.
No, that's all good. So my internet just cut out then. So that's
they're not mine. I mean,
I'm looking at you weird. That might be why. No, thank you, Eliza. And I just want to say I love your covers for the Sentinel series. They are mint. So love those books. Heather, we're going to go anti-clockwise because I'm crazy like that. And you don't know what direction I'm going in on my screen. But Heather, I know your story very well. You were one of the ARC copies that I got, and I really enjoyed reading about Templar Knights. But can you tell us a little bit about why, you love that as a protector?
As a protector. So I started writing the Relics and Legends world. Sorry, I only just released the first novel, but I had a previous novella out in the Relics and Legends world. And what I've found is every book that I've been planning or writing in that world has already had a protector element in it. It's urban fantasy. And the idea of this world is that witchcraft is a mainstream business, and legends that we all would call legends aren't consigned to history. They're all real. Every legend is real. And the Templar Knights, again, something I've taken from history, which I've always loved. And I think I've read as much as I can find about them even prior to creating this world, which is maybe why I gravitated to them as a kind of organization to use. But they become like the magical police. Some people like them, some people don't like them. And as the daughter of a cop, I think that's pretty par for the course for any of that kind of, that kind of role. But yeah, they're like the magical police. And so I was already writing in this world. I love the characters.
Yeah.
No, that sounds like a title for a song. The Magical Police.
Thank you. Yeah.
Song.
Yeah.
I'm just going to show Ruby's comment. She's coming in live from Canberra if you've just joined us. She's written about ex-military from the UK, and her heroine is a Sydney event or wedding planner. And she likes to have a twist in her stories. And I think that she's given us a big hint there that the perpetrator isn't always the case. I'm looking forward to yours, Ruby. And she's just done a shout out to you, Eliza, about loving your covers as well. Thank you, Ruby. Mm-hmm. And thanks, Nicole, Ruby. You are next in spinning the bottle here on my screen.
Well, tell us about at the moment because it's not safe.
Hey, I know you've done a story for the anthology based on your Freemasons series, but over to you. Pitch it to us. What have you written about?
Okay, so Securing His Heart. Can't even think of the title. My hero is a former Delta soldier. So he is, he's in the US, and he's actually over, I vaguely mentioned that he's over in Perth for a wedding, and it's the wedding of the couple in the book 4, the protector of my Freemason series. And he's out at a pub, and he's next to this woman, Lindy, and they get to chatting, but then she runs off, and then he goes out and he sees her getting mugged and her purse stolen. And so it's from there, the mystery of why she's getting, why she was attacked. And she has just recently taken over her father's business, who died, and she's kind of like floundering. And so that's the protector. Yeah. He's sort of like looking after her when he realizes that there's a threat. He's like, no, I'm keeping you safe because I didn't keep you safe when we were at the pub.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So it's connected to my Freemason series. There was Chris, the hero, appeared in the 3rd book, The Warrior, as part of a security team that went over to Malaysia to rescue the hero of that book's sister from her being kidnapped and held against her will in a sex slave ring. So kind of all connected there. So it's leading into a series of another security team. but that's a little bit down the track. I've got a few other books to write before I get to them. But that might
that's
come
a good
then.
seg soon, because we want to hear about what you're working on later on. That'll be good.
Okay.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yes.
You're the interloper. That's just trying to sound a bit more dramatic than what it actually is. You were able to join us from Ballina. Cattle rustlers versus the cowboy protector. Tell us about your story.
Yeah, well, I'm a bit of a sucker for reunion romance. So we've got my hero Jacob grew up in the outback, but he spent 10 years overseas because he has an American mother, and he was in law enforcement in the US until he got shot, and he's come back to help on the family property because his father's aging and whatnot, which is a bit of a theme. And when he's there, his best friend's sister is back in town because her father's passed away, and she's got to decide what she's doing with the family property that she's inherited, and it's in a poor state, and there's a cattle rustling problem going on, and she's just twigging to that when she runs into Jacob, and all the old chemistry is still there. But she gets run off the road, and drama ensues, and she has a bit of concussion, and I've had a lot of fun with this story, and it's set in the world of my first novel, which is Ryan's Return. So that world is outback Australia, a fictional place called Granite Ridge, and so there's some of the characters from both are will reappear.
Awesome. And you're not alone with your love of reunions. Fiona Marsden, I know you love a good reunion rom. So
I do too. There is something good about them. I've written a couple.
Yep. Do love me a second chance come reunion. Mine is not that trope, even though I've just declared my love of it. I've written about a firefighter. He is the only boy of the second or third generation, depending on which ones you're pointing, in his extended Italian family. So he's the only boy that'll carry on the Italian last name. Everyone's pegged their hopes on him to take over all their agricultural pursuits, but he has absolutely no interest at all. And he's a specialist mountain rescue daredevil firefighter. So if you're here in Queensland, because it's slightly different everywhere else, because why would it be? Consistent for research as an author. There's the firefighters who will pluck you off mountains. So they do swift water rescue as well. So they're not just always putting out fires. If you get yourself in a pickle, up a mountain, down a river, they're the guys and girls who'll pluck you out. And he's basically plucking out his heroine from, which looks awfully like Girrawheen National Park, because I used exactly one of the same monuments that are there.
So good.
Stone. So a bit of a nod to Fiona going as well, because she had a helicopter pilot who was her heroine in A Country Christmas novel that came out in October. And I needed a helicopter pilot to get him in there. And I just we've always joked our worlds were just off each other's maps. And Moira came onto the map, and she and the foil to my firefighter guy was really good. But mine was a wedding too. So we've got some pretty strong themes about how people are meeting with those sort of events. But they meet at a wedding and don't really know much about each other. But he then plucks her off a mountain in front of all her 16-year-olds. Yeah. So it's a bit of fun. It's a bit of a romp. So, thank you. It's weird when you're talking about your own story, and I just made you all do it. So I was going to say kudos. And I'm even the host. Then one of the tropes that I love, and I didn't even do it in mine, but when it comes to protectors, it's a one-click buy for me if there's the one-bed trope and you've got the protector and their charge. And it doesn't matter which way you gender flip, who's the protector and who's not. Just give me that. Just give me all of that. Make it dramatic. Give me all of, those feels in that sort of situation. A few of you hinted at it about reunions and second chance as well, about tropes. But is there any tropes? I'll just throw it open to you guys. What tropes do you love when you're combining something like this?
Oh, can I just quickly jump in rudely and agree vehemently with what you just said? There's nothing better than a locked cabin forced proximity. That is totally, that's my one click. Oh, yes, I need that. Because
I've never written a false proximity book. I must. I guess I have to. In all the books that I've written, I've never had a one bed situation.
Yeah.
Look,
I'd like to do
51st
that.
book.
Yeah.
One
Sorry?
click by Nicole. Next
Okay,
book,
well, I'll make
51st
sure.
book. She's written 50 books to everyone who's tuning in. We were just talking about how wonderful achievement that is. So the 51st book, I'm formally asking you, please make it force proximity, one bed, give me all the feels, one click by. That'd be great.
Okay, I'll see what I can do.
Nicole's just like, I'm never doing any of these with Lou again. This is not cool. Eliza, did we talk about what tropes you liked? Or is there something that you really like to combine with protectors?
I've never done a friends to lovers, and I think I'd like to do that. I'd like to do another secret baby. I'd like to sort of find a twist with that, but I'm not quite sure what that is yet, so it'll have to go on the back burner.
Yeah, nice. And Heather, I know we've talked about this a lot, so I just feel like this is a poorly choreographed throwing it open to you. But like, what do you love to do? Yeah, like what tropes do you love using in your world, your relic world?
Well, I had a blast writing this story because I felt like I got to throw everything at it, which is crazy for a novella, right? But I really did. I just went to town. So some of my favorite things, enemies to lovers, and being a protector romance fan and a romantic suspense fan for yonks. I love it when those plot lines combine with enemy to lovers. Just give me that jam all day long kind of deal. So enemy to lovers, grumpy sunshine.
And
we're all going. That whole Beauty and the Beast thing. Love Beauty and the Beast. And then also something like, so I did the forced proximity as well in this one, but they're in a plane, so there's a one bed on a private plane. So they kind of, that's the Mile High thing. It was a fun one.
Nice.
Yeah. But I also love it when both characters get to play the protector part, and so without giving away too much, there's that a bit of an evolution for a character happens in this book as well.
Ooh. Can you tell us whether it's the male or the female who has this evolution of?
It's the female. So she's a green witch, and she was inspired by malachite, which is what I'm wearing here. So I had to give you all my little Easter eggs today, all my malachite.
Beautiful.
Her hair. Anyway, I won't go into the whole backstory, but she's a green witch, and she's basically going to find out just how far she can push her green witchcraft. And hopefully I loved writing the end scene. I had so much fun. If you can imagine going to town on how you could use plants and vines and things to get your way across the end of the story, this is how it happens.
Yes, nice.
I'm so addicted to that. That sounds fantastic.
I'm just going to do a shout out. Fiona, there's another Fiona. Everyone's Fiona.
Hello, Fiona. Both Fiona.
Hello, Fiona.
And that's Fiona from near Warwick, come Maryvale. So thank you for joining us as well. We're really representing really well across everywhere. Guys, I promised you that I would have a little bit of a moment where I forgot what I was going to ask, and I'm doing it right now. New releases, I've got back. What are you guys working on next? You know how that sort of moniker we hear in the writing world, you're only as good as the next thing you're working on. And here I am going, good, it's released. Now what the heck are you doing? But hang on. But before we do that, Ruby has entered the chat. She's on her phone, so she's got a bit of a delay getting stuff in. Ruby just wanted to do a shout out to say, particularly to Eliza, that this has been the best fun writing with you all. And she had so much fun writing this anthology and her story. That's awesome. Thank you, Ruby. I'm really looking forward to reading yours too.
Yeah, anthology.
That's beautiful.
Cool.
Yeah. And there's quite a few authors.
It's been fantastic. Yeah.
Yep. And thanks, Eliza, for being our fearless leader, along with Ebony, we'll just acknowledge Ebony. She's not here online with us tonight, but who did all the production work behind the scenes. So thank you, fearless leader. You did it, girlfriend. 2 #1 hot releases on the Amazon.
No, amazing.
No.
Eliza,
it is
do it
so
again.
cool.
You didn't do it, though. It's not true. You all did it, and that is the truth. I mean, if it's not for you guys writing your stories, there's nothing.
Accept
Yes,
our
but
love,
when you-
Eliza. Accept our love.
Exactly. It's your time to shine, Eliza. We refuse to allow you to be
Yes.
modest.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's like,
You're-
whatever. Eliza, just take it.
Yes.
All right, well, we'll make Eliza go first. What are you working on next? You've just got this anthology out, No Rest for the Wicked in Tasmania. What are you doing right now? Or what's coming up next for you?
It's the first of the Sentinel Security New York. So it's So I used to live in New York. Lived there for about 11 and a half years. So it's been fun. I went back last month to check out some of the locations that I remembered, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh yeah.
So and that's a grumpy sunshine. So.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh,
You're talking to me now. Yep.
No rest for you. You got to give us that. That'll be good.
Yeah.
Sarah, I think we heard what's next for you, but I'm going to pitch it to me. What is the world that this anthology story is setting up?
Look, I'm still in love with Granite Ridge. I've got a few stories that are partially completed, and the one I'm most excited about is there's two sisters stories. I've got one ready to roll, but I'm not going to roll it out until I've finished my challenge story, which is about a young mum who decides to run for mayor of Granite Ridge because she just can't stand watching the patriarchy continue to do what the patriarchy does. And
yes.
And of course it's a romance, so she's falling in love with the Irish doctor who's just in town kind of as a penance to earn a chance back to had a second go at his career as a surgeon in Sydney. So he's just out there marking time, and he's got to write a report to close down the hospital in the small town. So she's going to campaign on saving the hospital. But, of course, it's a little bit tricky when you keep falling in love with the guy who's going to potentially ruin everything.
Wow.
So, I'm really excited about that story. And, so when I finish that, then I'll, probably release her story and also the sister story. So she's very close to her sister, who's a builder. She's working in an unconventional industry in a small town, and I've got some exciting things happening in her life too. So yes, I'm really loving my small town and my sisters, because I don't have a sister, so I get to live vicariously through my characters, which I really enjoy.
Awesome. That'd be good. More Granite Ridge. Nicole, we were touching on this in the studio. You've got a few things on the burn, but what's the immediate priority for the what next for you?
Okay, so I've got a release in December 13th.
Oh, nice.
And that is in Susan Stoker's Operation Alpha, well, her Badge of Honor world, which is a firefighter. So I've got a firefighter hero, and my heroine is a art gallery owner. And so she's got this, people have said he's my creepiest villain. So she's got this stalker who is, going after her. So that's coming out in, the 13th of December. And then I have another one coming out in January, which is part of my SEAL team, that series that I've got going on. And I just finished writing that last week. And so that's like a best friend's brother. Or best friend's sister. No, best friend's brother. Best friend's brother romance. And so she's just found out that her boss is not a very nice person, and he's got his fingers in some very unpleasant pies. And so now she's sort of like in danger. He's just rescued her. He rescues her when she gets shot at. So that's what's coming up. And then I've got some books that I've got some rights back on, and I'm going to rebrand them and incorporate them just to add a little changes and add them to my my Freemason series. So taking it from a 4-book series up to a 7-book series. So just link it all up.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's going to be releasing starting in February, April, and June. Those books will come out. So.
Awesome.
Goodness.
And the forced proximity one bed. Good chat.
I'll have to add that in. Maybe that will be the first. Maybe that will be my October book. Actually, I think I might make that my October book that I've got in my schedule.
We'll be off camera going, what the hell was Queensland saying tonight? You are a busy, busy woman between now and Valentine's Day. So that's going to be great seeing your releases. Really looking forward to seeing those. Now, you and Heather, I'm just going to do a bit of a shout out here. You guys are in Sydney next week at Book Fair Australia, your table neighbours. So that's going to be great. Yeah, and I hope that goes really well.
I think we're next door to Tanya Nellerstein as well, one of our other authors from the Antho. She's coming down too, so there'll be a few of us there.
Yeah, we'll have a big celebration.
Ruby, are you going? I can't remember when I last looked. It's been a while since I looked at the last updated list, but I wasn't sure if you were going to that yet. But Heather, what have you got? I think I know the answer, but again, because we talk. But what's next on your plate for you?
Book 2 in the 3 Gifts trilogy. So basically, I just released book 1 last week, and book 2 is not due out till early next year, but I'm trying to push to get it out in time for ARA. Basically, the 3 Gifts trilogy is about the gold, the myrrh, and the frankincense, and what happened to them after the Magi delivered them as the gifts. What happened to them? And again, I write urban fantasy. So it's obviously
anything can happen in urban fantasy.
Right?
Anything can happen. Yes. Absolutely.
No, that's good.
I
was going to ask, when is book 2? I think we're just going to talk over top of each other. When's book 2 though slated? You do have a date in mind. Do you dare say the date? Am I asking you like the war?
Listen, if I say it, I really, 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 really want to try to make the 11th of February. But I just don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can do it. But
you can.
But the 11th, it's ARA, right? It's ARA here in Brisbane, hometown. I want that book out.
Yeah,
she will.
Sleep is overrated, love.
Yeah, precisely right.
And that's a fantastic shout out. That was really well choreographed, actually, because I had forgotten you were getting it out for ARA. Because ARA's coming up, all around the country. I'm just going to do a quick whip around the group. I've got my clip notes here. So on the 10th of Feb in Brizzy, we're kicking it off with Julia Quinn and Audrey Carlin at a free event. So if you are local to Brisbane, I'd highly recommend that Friday night, seeing if you can get along, because they're doing an author talk and a meet and greet. And it is free. That means the tickets go immediately. The 11th is our signing here, and Heather and I will be at that event. The 12th of February, the next day, Sunday, the signing is in Sydney. Ruby, are you going to that one? Because I was just making sure I was looking up names for the live broadcast. I know I've seen your name on one of the events. The following weekend is Melbourne. Eliza, are you going to Melbourne, Ara?
No, I'm not this year. No, I might sort of be a visitor, but I won't be at a table.
Yeah, nice. Yep. No, I thought I'd just double check to make sure I did read that right. And then on the 19th, Perth. Nicole, you're going to be there. That's going to be great.
I will be there, yes.
Well. So we're really looking forward to that. And that's my segue into what am I working on? I'm working on the proverbial book 2 as well, looking at you, Heather, going, yeah, girl, let's just get it done. And that's continuing on the same world as Specialist Firefighters. And actually you meet my dude just before he goes on training as a secondary character, who's desperately fighting everyone off, trying to make him the head of the vineyard when he couldn't tell you the difference between a green or a red grape. So he's like, lol, no way, I'm often going to do Specialist Firefighter training. But the main characters I introduced you to in book 2. So I am galloping towards the 9th of February to get that out. So it's there in time for the 11th at that event. So, no rest for the wicked, and I must be very wicked then. She laughed.
Cheers to that.
Yes.
Cheers to that. I'm going to drink to that. Yeah.
And ladies, I promised you half an hour of your time. Oh, so sorry, Ruby. I'm just signing you up for all these shows. No, Ruby's not going to be at Melbourne. Oh, not Melbourne. Sorry, Sydney. But I'm really looking forward to reading all your stories, ladies. And I promised you half an hour of your time this evening so that people can now go cook dinner over in Perth. Everyone else can actually just go.
I think my hero of a husband is cooking dinner. I can see stuff happening.
How much more time do you need to be online? Do we need to keep talking? So it's just plated up and brought in. That'd be all right, wouldn't it? Thank you for making time, ladies, because it was Friday night and I knew there was a big ask. Not everyone's available.
Thank you for
really good to
organising it, Lou.
having a chat.
Thank you so much.
No, that's quite all right.
Yeah, thanks, Lou.
And a virtual wine. I just feel like this is such a pandemic vibe. It's such the thing of the last 3 years. So cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
We did it.
Cheers.
Started hard
Cheers,
and out.
We did it.
Cheers.
And
Congratulations all.
And Ruby,
Yes.
cheers to you too. Nice to see you in comments, and also Kaz. Thank you for sharing your time, ladies. Thanks for coming, Kaz, and taking out number one. That was a bit exciting today at 4 o'clock.
It was a wonderful day.
Oh, hang on, before we go, everyone's just showing its love. Thank you, Fiona. That's really good that you got to dial in from Maryvale.
Thank you.
All right, I'll end the broadcast for everyone who's listening in, and then we can chat in the studio and, I don't know, talk about wine or something. So see you, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.